Hello and welcome to another expedition. What should we call it? Episode?
Mark, you're saying some long words there.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Welcome to another edition of the Portsmouth Basketball Podcast. I'm Matt.
I am Paul. Hello.
Hello, yeah. Well, it's a bit of a flaky start from us, unfortunately. But we've just been doing so many podcasts recently, haven't we?
Yeah, and we got them kind of a bit stacked up, haven't we?
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, they're literally, it's like Sainsbury's at the meat counter where everyone takes a little ticket and they wait outside. And when we're done with someone, we just bin them out the window sort of thing.
But I really liked the last one with Ryan. And you know what? For me personally, this is Ryan Payne. When I was actually listening to him talking a lot of it, it was like going back 10 years and getting a freaking pep talk. Like I was like, right, I am ready to play basketball after listening and play.
It's impressive
after listening to him talk.
There was a kestrel in the room and you were fine with it. There was no sweats or... You didn't. Yeah, you're quite well behaved, weren't you?
Yeah, we were good. But we have got another guest, Mark, today.
Have we?
We have.
Is that person here?
That is that person who's just appeared there, yes.
Fantastic.
And you know what? We've been trying to get this guest on the show for, I want to say, 8 weeks?
How many times have we been stood up?
I think about 3,000, Mark.
If you went to a restaurant and you got stood up once, would you go back again?
No.
Would you go back a second time?
No.
What if you thought, all right, I'll give them the benefit of doubt, second time, let's make another thing, and then they cancelled?
Mark, I might have to go because I'm going to go and play some golf.
You're going to Wentworth?
Yeah, I'm going to Wentworth.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't turn up last night. I don't know what Wentworth is. I mean, but
you thought it was a women's prison, didn't you?
I don't know, but well, let's introduce our guest this week. Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Portsmouth Force chairman, Rob Milner.
Wow. Hello.
Hello,
Thank you
Rob.
very much. What an intro.
He's finally arrived.
Congratulations on making it.
Yeah, fresh from Wentworth.
Yeah.
I just want to qualify. I wasn't playing golf. I would love to play golf at Wentworth. I was watching a Pro-Am. It's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's some... Jimmy Bullard was playing, lots of fun.
Hang on, you're
Vernon Kay.
the chairman of the Portsmouth Force, and you weren't
I didn't get
one
an
of the
invite.
celebrities.
Did not get an invite.
What is
no.
going on?
I mean, it's golf. Though,
And the
really.
pros, though, the way it's the same for all sports, but the pros, the elite of the elite, are a different class. So to see elite golfers, the pros are the Pro-Am. They
Oh,
bring
wow.
that golf ball.
Is that one of the ones where they have to bring their
Sensational.
own bats, or they get their own
Yeah,
bats?
they bring their own rackets. Yeah, they even have someone to carry their rackets around with them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you were vying for? Was it you're trying to get in the
I would
front?
love to be a
Oh,
caddy.
carry your sticks.
Do you
Beautiful, though.
consider it a proper sport?
Yes. We started off on the right. Golf is a sport.
That's a good stance, isn't it? The chairman of a real sport thinks golf is also a sport.
Yeah. Wow. Rob.
But yeah, sorry for standing.
It's all
you up,
about the
guys,
balls. You
yes,
like the balls?
I do like balls.
Small balls and big balls.
Golf balls, basketballs,
Yep. Fantastic.
American footballs.
Disgraceful.
I don't know what that was all about.
You don't know what's going on, do you?
No. Right. Well, so Rob, Portsmouth Force chairman.
Yes.
How did that come about? Like, where did
How-
that
so-
begin? Like, how do you become the chairman of a basketball club?
Over a kitchen table at an AGM for a precursor to the club. So what? I see you laughing in the corner. So just to clarify,
Is he still laughing?
Mark in this podcast room has a thing about innuendo words, right? And every time we've been saying them as we've been talking, Paul,
Yeah.
the word helmet and the word balls has made him laugh.
Oh no.
And I've got a feeling it's because I said it was over a kitchen table.
Well, for all the listeners out there, I've got Mark to my right, who is crying with laughter, unable to talk, and Rob has just pretty much joined him. So,
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. So,
yeah.
so what happened was I needed some.
Oh God, they've gone. They've gone. Well, we're going to turn this into the Paul's basketball podcast for the
Game
next
face.
30 seconds.
Game face.
Right, come on, Mark.
Composure.
No, don't do that.
Mark, come on. It's not hard. Just come on. Do the podcast. He's gone again. I knew that would get him.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, dear. This is going to be an innuendo
Drink some
podcast,
water,
isn't
mate.
it?
Yes, 100%.
Ah.
Good entertainment.
So
It is.
there's a kitchen table.
Family friendly.
No, so what happened was, obviously I played basketball when I was younger. As you know, I played with you at a young level, and we played.
Oh, God. Wow.
Really?
You set him off now. Oh, no.
What have you done,
Wow.
Mark?
Do we have to start this again?
What have you
Oh,
done,
no.
Mark?
That's a weird initiation.
So,
Wow.
when we were playing basketball as we were younger, and I kind of stopped playing basketball when I got to around sort of 22, 23. What was funny about that?
I don't get it.
Oh,
Why are you
no.
laughing at?
I just got the giggles. Oh, dear
Well,
God.
that just shows what a fun club it is, right?
Yes,
We
it
are
is.
having. Life is never not fun.
So when did you start getting into basketball, though?
I started playing when I was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
7 or 8. I was
This
always
is-
tall.
Mickey B, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Mickey Byrne, Saturday mornings down Mountbatten Centre. I was tall, I tried football, I played football, was a bit gangly, not the best footballer. Thought I'd give basketball a go. It was literally that, let's give basketball a go. And that's what we want kids in the club to be able to do. We want someone in the city to be able to go, let's just give it a go. It doesn't matter if you end up not liking it, but you've got the opportunity to come and play.
Yeah.
So I went and played at 7 or 8 at the Mountbatten Centre and carried on playing until I was sort of in my 20s or so. And then when I stopped to pursue a dream of a DJ career and all the bits and setting up businesses and so on and so forth, when I had children, I looked back and was like, well, where can my kids now play basketball? And for everything that Mick did that was great and the city did, there wasn't an infrastructure of kids basketball and an availability of kids being able to go, I just want to try and play basketball. I did find a guy called Simon Couteau.
Simon Couteau.
Brilliant coach, brilliant player, really nice guy. I'm still speak to the family. When he comes over, he comes to see me. Lovely guy. But he had a brilliant, and like not to use the word lightly, his team, he had a brilliant girls basketball team.
They were very good.
Like they were a team, not a club. He wanted a club. I know he wanted a club, but he had a brilliant team. There was a
They were
15
national
15
league very well.
girls.
Yeah, they were really good as
15 girls who were winning games left, right, and centre. We still speak to a lot of them, so they're still around.
Episode 13.
Just-
Simon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
well.
Yes.
Some are.
Love
One of
him.
them plays in the WBBL now.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah, she does. Yeah. So brilliant team he had. And Ellen went. So Ellen's my eldest. She went to play with those guys, and she was playing with the girls' team, and she was doing so well with everything that she was going on there. And we got invited to the AGM. And the AGM with this girls' team, as the older girls were progressing to go to the next club, the younger girls like Ellen were coming through to go to the next, to replace them. And in that meeting that we had at the AGM, which happened to be at a guy called Mike Collier's house, whose daughter is also, both daughters actually, brilliant basketball players. Caitlin and Imi, they're both are one, I think Caitlin was at Worcester. And,
Yeah, she went to Worcester
and
University. She was doing really
Imi's
well.
playing at Kestrel's, and I saw her at the weekend, she's loving her basketball, which is amazing. And we had this meeting, and I think someone basically said, I'm off. And a lot of the girls are like, we're 18 now, we're going. What's going to happen? Who's going to be the chairman of this basketball team? And I think it was someone, or someone said, oh, Rob will do it. And I just sat there at his kitchen table. I was like, yeah, I guess I'll do it.
Under the bus.
Why not? At that time, they had a girls' team, and I think we just started the first generation of Fun and Fundamentals, so the first Sundays, with a few kids coming around, and the girls were being the lead coaches. So I wasn't press ganged into it, but I kind of, shall I do it? And I remember speaking to my wife and saying, after they asked me, do you want to do it? I said, well, let me think about it. And Kelly's like, well, if you say yes, you know where this will go. You know it's going to take over your life to an extent. Obviously, you've got other things I do take over your life. And I said yes. So she was like, let's do it. Why not? Why not? And then from then on, it was a clear vision. Oof, I don't just want a girls' team. We as a community of basketball coaches, because I've got yourself, so many people involved with the club, it's insane.
When was this? This was like 2016,
Yeah,
2014,
probably, yeah,
something like that.
2016, 2017, probably. So it's happened really quickly. And I went, do you know what? Let's get everyone involved with the club. but let's not just have a brilliant girls team. And actually, the girls team was the hardest thing to part with because they just disintegrated.
I think most of them went to the Kestrels, from what I remember.
It went from being a National League winning team to having to pull out. I remember pulling out. We had Keely Reid was helping the coach at that point. I remember he was like, we're not going to be able to put a team together. Last year we were competing for national honours.
Yeah.
And this year we got 4 players.
Yeah.
So we just pulled the whole rug out. And that set us back. It's not no one's fault. It's just the natural progression. But it made you realise that the only way a club will be able to be sustainable is to have base level players coming through and filling up the section. It's like a pyramid. So the way our club should work is we should have hundreds of under 6s and then maybe a few less under 8s and a few less under 10s and a few less under 12s until you work all the way up the pyramid. And Daniel's got a squad of 20 to work from.
Yeah, and that's where what I really remember, that's where I got involved with it, when you were doing that fun and fundamental session, which if no one knows, it's basketball for, well, it was anyone under 10 or 11 at that time. And it was great because kids just turned up and they just played and had fun, you know, and basketball was just there, wasn't it?
One of the things is that I feel that fun and fundamental session, why it's so successful, is we've never done it under any subscription, any commitment. It's just pay and play. At the moment it's £5, which is a bargain for their basketball, for the coach and the facilities and everything they've got. £5 pay and play. So there's no pressure, there's no subs where you have to go if your kid doesn't want to go. You just turn up, pick up a basketball. If you've played a little bit and you know what you're doing, you'll have fun and you can get better. And if you haven't played at all, you can just get taught just the utter basics, like how to stand. And people don't think about things like how to hold a basketball. Like, you have to be shown how to hold a basketball. You don't just hold a basketball. You'll be shown how to dribble a basketball. It's not, you don't just bounce a ball. So those fundamentals at that age is brilliant. And
it's good seeing those kids coming forward as well.
That's what I was going to say, jumping on to where you're going to be. And I'm sure the question will go on later on when we're talking about Force and the men's team. Like, we're almost at that point where there's a couple of players I can see that we've had from 6, 8 years old that I think will make it and to be able to play on our team.
Yeah.
You get that. Like, you've won, basically.
Yeah, and you know what? That's one of the parts of the club that I really love is when you're sitting there at a Force game, you're doing something, and you get like an under 16 National League player come, "Hey coach, how you doing?" You think, "I'm not your coach, but I coached you 10 years ago," or something and that's really nice. And you're seeing them evolve, and you're looking at them now going, "I really hope you're in that men's team and I'm announcing you in a couple of years' time. That'll be great." There's one thing I did want to mention for you, and I don't know if you're aware of it. I don't know if you've heard the episode. I know it's only just been released, really, but the Simon Coutole episode, he was talking about you. And in that episode, he turned around and said he wished he met you earlier. If he met you earlier, he probably wouldn't have gone to France.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. So,
wow, that's pretty cool.
If you had become chairman then, he wouldn't have gone to France. And arguably, I reckon you'd probably have Dan as the men's coach and Simon would be the women's coach.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
So, Simon just got things done.
Yeah.
So Simon was a very good basketball person and he did just get things done. I remember he had a pathway and I remember seeing the picture that he'd drawn of this pathway. It looked perfect. And I was like, that's a brilliant pathway, but how are you going to implement it with so few people? I think he had 2 or 3 coaches with him. You can't implement that without an army of coaches, which is what we've got, by the way. We're a super lucky club. Like, we have, I'm gonna say 20 to 25 coaches, and that may even be conservative. Like, there's not many other clubs that have got that many coaches. There's not that many willing people to help out and step in and do the things that we do. So yeah, imagine if Simon had stayed. You can always come back, Simon, if you're listening. There's always room.
Of course he's listening.
Of course he's listening. There's always room, Simon.
Mark showed me some of the stats because he sees it in a lot of detail, and there are people from France listening.
Are they really?
Not Simon, but everyone else.
Oh, wicked.
He's like, he wants everyone to listen to him.
It's amazing when you
Did Simon talk about French basketball and how they're supported by their councils and cities and
completely different, and you don't pay for court because they say you're representing
Yep.
the city, so you don't pay for that court because
Portsmouth City Council, are you listening?
I think you probably want to say the United Kingdom. Are you listening?
I mean,
because that's
it's all everything, isn't it?
I gave Simon a Force T-shirt last time he was over, and he was sending me a picture every Monday afterwards. He had a training session with his guys, and every time he had the Force T-shirt on, he was winning his basketball games. So I don't know. I'm guessing that stopped because he hasn't sent me a picture for a while. So,
Wow.
so maybe he's on a losing
I
run.
think that's confirmed. If you want to win basketball games, get in contact with, what is it called? What's the email, Mark?
UK Basketball Podcast @gmail.com.
That's where, and we will get you one of these T-shirts, and then you will win basketball games. That is fact from Rob Milner.
Absolute fact. Absolute fact.
100%.
See, I have some strange theories, but one of them is that when you think about the time that we all went and played basketball, that was 80s.
Yes.
So at that point, Americana and basketball as its sort of Showtime sort of thing coming in the UK, it was still very relatively unknown, but people liked to do, I won't say American things, but all the films like Top Gun, Days of Thunder, all that kind of stuff was very pro-American. So that it was quite a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Fast forward to this sort of generation, you don't have that hook. So how do you get kids to think, I'd like to try basketball?
How do you get kids to try basketball? I think kids naturally want to try everything.
Yeah.
My kids do. They want to try everything. They want to know if they can play guitar. They want to know if they can do a Rubik's Cube. They want to know if they can do Scrabble, play football, they have tennis. And like they've probably, over the course of their first 10 years, tried a bit of everything. And some things stick and some things don't they? So I think just having the opportunity and the availability will give kids that option of getting into the sport. Like there's only football and basketball, as far as I'm concerned, that are pick up and play sports. There's really the only two, possibly rugby, but you can pick up a ball, get your mates and go and just play.
Not golf then, Rob, no.
Well, no, you have to pay for golf clubs. It's a lot
Some
more
would consider
expensive.
it's not a real sport, Mark.
Darts, one of Paul's favourites.
In the same category.
Snooker?
Same category.
What's that, a game? Are you saying it's a game?
Well, it's a hobby, I'd say.
A professional hobbyist.
And I'd put badminton.
Do you know how much these professional golf hobbyists
get
paid?
One under hobby.
So we on a basketball podcast, we must never use the badminton word.
No.
Like, I don't know one basketball person who appreciates badminton. I'm really sorry, but every sports hall, every gym, those bloody badminton posts, the nets. I'm not going to say shuttlecocks.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to go.
He's going to go. I always wonder, excuse me, why in more places, and it's obviously a cost thing, but when you see the NBA courts, they build them.
Yep.
And they're all, the parquet are all separate big chunks. I always wonder, like, is there a way that you could have that where you have, here's your normal sports hall, and then if, like, you know, the Force play at Ravlin, there was, okay, there's another court that you roll out on over the top of it, and there you go. Would they do something like that at other venues?
You're talking about really bespoke south, like they got at the SSC Open, so having a proper basketball court. Like, eventually that will happen as more people play, and more people are playing basketball than ever. More people are playing. And there's more outside courts.
Yeah,
that's why I sort of saying it's similar to football. Like you can go and kick a football around on the field. You can also pop up multiple basketball courts now.
Well, it was the 90s in it with Adidas in the UK, wasn't it, where they put all those street ball courts up.
Yep.
And they really, really went for a...
Yeah, I mean, there's one, 100 metres from where we are now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and then you've got places like Orchard Park where they've changed all the stuff there as well.
Brilliant project, yeah.
And they've done a really good project recently to revive everything. And all of those, like you say, you just grab a ball and off you go.
Yeah, absolutely. We, some of the community members of the club, Judy Lashley and Ross Needham, they were helping. They live next door to a basketball court at Baffins, and they tried to get a project off the ground to reform that basketball court. But at the very least, we contacted the council and was like, this is not really fit for purpose. More people should play basketball here. And just with them nagging, they managed to get the council to come out and clear all the grit off the basketball court, make it a safer place for kids to play.
Oh, that's good.
And now it's an option. So, like, as soon as someone presses the council or someone talks about trying to, increase the basketball availability, people are listening, and then it gets used.
Because there's not say no way, but it's very difficult for them to manage that usage and how people, how many are accessing it, how many people are at any one time on it. Oh, there's one person on the court. Oh no, there's like 2 teams and someone's on the side waiting to sub in. Like, there's no way of, to get people monitoring that, do they? So they just, it's provision, it's there, and then they just sort of put it up and leave it, so to speak. A bit like a kid's playground, quite literally.
Exactly.
Unless someone says the swing's broken, they'll just, it is what it is, isn't it?
Exactly.
But basketball is getting bigger in the UK now, for sure. Like, I was doing a little bit of research, and a bit similar to the way we're doing with the Force and stuff like that, I noticed there are other teams building very similar, like with that pattern, that structure, like we're doing. And it was interesting because I was just trying to copy ideas and go, okay, these guys, like, I think you got the Plymouth Raiders. Look at them. I think they're up and coming, aren't they? They look. I think they were an old team a while ago. There's been a few Plymouth teams, but that looked like, they're on that same course. You got the Bristol Flyers.
Yeah, amazing.
What starting to do it.
Really something else.
As you start looking around, it just really looks like basketball's building
on the up.
And the BBL.
Yeah, because
the way the BBL's rebranded from the strange branding they had before to now, they've now taken away the salary caps last season. So it used to be a £250,000 salary cap for a team, and now they've just got rid of it.
Yeah,
which means now if you want to get someone from the Euro leagues, or you want to get a player that's maybe 50,000, 100,000, you could do that. Whereas before you had a squad of 15, 20 people, you're going to have to pay them 20 grand a pop, and maybe 1 or 2 stars.
And as we know, it's a great spectator sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really good. It is really, really good. When you go to a basketball game, even a lower level one, but particularly you go to like a big game. I've been lucky enough to go to a couple of NBA games. When you go to your first NBA game, from the moment you walk into the stadium, you're just looking around. There's so much to see.
Magic.
What was your first game?
Philadelphia versus the Knicks at Wells Fargo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really good. Like incredible. You just walk in and you're just staring around. And at that time, when the first game I went to, we had Dario Saric, so a European player, and I had a few alcoholic beverages. And because there was no British player to cheer on, but he was European, I spent sort of 48 minutes shouting, Europe, Europe, Europe. That's obviously a bit of a golf reference as well.
Lovely.
Ryder Cup coming up. But anyway, I was screaming Europe, and if I'd managed to influence the American guys around me, they're like, what's this guy seeing Europe? And like, oh, that player on our bench? That guy, he's from Europe. I'm from Europe, he's my dude. And they were cheering with me in the end. But it was just a great experience, a basketball experience. The halftime is almost as exciting as the game. Like everything. And when you go away from a basketball game, you kind of almost should feel a bit exhausted.
Yeah.
You're like,
I know we do after the Force game. I don't know if you can hear that, and definitely listeners can hear that, but it's actually throwing it down outside. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's actually coming through on these mics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thunder.
Shall I shut that window?
No. It just took me a while to work out what it was.
Do you remember the scene in Never Ending Story when he?
Don't talk about that film.
No, did it make you upset?
Yeah,
so when the horse dies.
No. When I was a kid, this is one of weird. Like I'm divulging something, but when I was a kid, I had a recurring dream that a wolf was chasing me. That's the best. And then the decision was, I know, we'll take him to that film, and that would cheer him up. Probably the worst film I could have gone to watch at that point. So there's a giant wolf and trying to eat a tray. It was like, I'm out. I literally was out that cinema. I was a kid. I was gone.
I'm just picturing people listening to the podcast thinking Never Ending Story, thinking us in a loft with like the rain coming down.
Yeah.
Holding
it's about to kick off.
Holding an apple with our blankets over our head, reading a big old book.
Yeah, well, we can get cozy if you want, Rob. It's fine. I mean, the window's open. We can take the lights off.
Funny enough, one of my guys at my day job has a dog that looks like Falcor.
Really?
Pretty impressive.
This is that thing that flies.
Yeah, the dragon.
Looks like
It's obviously a dog, not a dragon, but it's pretty impressive.
Okay. I vaguely remember that film.
Oh, really? I remember it too well. Anyway.
So, you do leave pretty tired, don't you?
Yeah,
I know.
that's what you leave.
It's a lot of work.
It's an experience, as you said. It's not just a game.
It should be.
You're not just going to, I'm watching this, start, middle, finish, end, off you go.
And I think it depends on the aspect, but I know from our perspective that when we're doing the entertainment side of things, we are literally going to those 350 people. We want them to walk out going, they've watched a game of basketball, but they've also been entertained as well. Whether it's the music, and it's sometimes you see it, like you'll see a kid walk in. I know a friend of mine brought his kid in for his first game, and he walked in, music was blaring, and he looked at the court, huge smile on his face, like, wow, Dad, I've made it. It's like, look, we're talking Division 3 national basketball, but that interaction he had when he saw the court, it's like, that's what you want.
I think part of it, you guys get it, and I am so grateful to the pair of you what you do for the Force games. And so, if you don't know what Paul and Mark do on a regular home game, is they set up with a sound desk in the corner. They arrive 3 hours before the game. They sort out the speakers, make sure it sounds good. And throughout the game, we've got American style music, we've got player introductions, we've got all the razzmatazz that you build. And you know more than I do in terms of other teams that do that, but there's a handful in the country, right?
I don't know of anyone else that does the I'd call them the American jingles.
Yeah.
Andrew does that. That's my brother.
Yeah.
So Andrew sits there on that program that I wrote, and he analyzes the play.
Yeah.
And depending on what has happened, he will play the relevant music.
If it's offensive, defensive, if it's one to G up the crowd.
I love the Jeopardy.
I'm just the monkey who comes
that's
and
my favourite, when the referees are having a little powwow and having a decision and you play the Jeopardy. I love that.
They don't like that.
You know,
I love that. I love
but
that.
it's really like the last game where the Force took on the Kestrels. I had to nudge Andrew a few times because the refs were talking, and from my perspective, they talked to each other for 2 seconds, bam, down, and play that music. And it happened, like, I was like, Andrew, you playing that? He says, I just switched off for a second. I was like, all right. And it happened like 3 times. I was like, you need to bloody wake up, because we could have got them 4 times now.
Well, the 3 of you are absolutely it's no exaggeration to say that you make that game day what it is, the 3 of you. The basketball is a big part of it, but the game day experience is hugely affected by what you do, and I'm so grateful. And the ticket sales, which are great, by the way, like over 300p, 320, 350 people at the last game, and growing and growing and growing, and I've no doubt we'll be selling out by the end of the season, no doubt at all.
Selling out or moving out? That's another dilemma for you.
That's another dilemma. I'd love to be able to turn people away. Or like, I forgot a history of club promotion as well. I used to DJ and do club promotion, and the golden ticket is to be able to turn people away at the door.
Name's not down, you're not coming.
Kind of, you want that demand. You want people to look, if you want your ticket, you have to buy your ticket right away.
So when, as a chairman then, or putting you under the bus here, when as a chairman do you have to sit there and think, we are hitting capacity all the time now? What do we do?
We're already talking about it. It's already talking or hypothesizing or trying to find a way to go to 1,000 fans, to go to 2,000 fans, maybe, whatever. There has to be a way.
You do know that Paul has agreed if he wins the Euro Millions, he's building something basically very similar to what Bristol Flyers have got, which is like a 3,000 seater.
Me and Rob actually talked about this for about, I want to say maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. I was driving to Cornwall, and I phoned Rob and went, Rob, we need to get our own arena. And I was like, where can we do it? Like, let's just buy a warehouse or something and put a floor in. That hasn't happened yet, but you never know.
Wow, I mean, yeah.
Hey, if I get the Euros,
do not dream small.
If I win the Euros, mate,
I'm in as well.
Is. The only question mark would be the name.
The name of the venue.
If I was spending 100 mil,
you can name it after you.
I might. No, I might. The Fury, it might be. That's the only question mark. But I'd feel a bit guilty on your brother because he's got that Force tattoo. So we might have to just keep it as the Force.
God, I thought you were going to call it Gandalf's Revenge or something.
I thought you were just naming the stadium you were about to build. You want to do a whole takeover and rebrand.
Maybe. Anyway, it's only because obviously I've been playing for the Fury for since I was 15. So,
Well, technically, Portsmouth Force and Portsmouth Fury are all part of the same basketball club anyway.
and actually, some would argue that the Portsmouth Fury was called the Portsmouth Force for 1 year.
It's the City of Portsmouth Basketball Club, I think you'll find.
But so yeah,
no, handbags.
I remember the Fury was called the New Power Cram Generation, and then they were the Force for a year.
Yeah.
And then Alex Byrne said he wanted his team to be called the Portsmouth Force. So Mick went, Alex team's Force, you got to change your name, and that's when they came up with Fury.
See, I really liked, I don't know if everyone knows this, but the select few of us in the naming process do.
That took ages.
It took well over a year, 18 months to come up with our name and what we were going to do. And we knuckled it down. We had a design which I thought was brilliant for the Portsmouth Admirals. And I loved the name. The logo was great. And then we were just about to go out and we found out that was it the American football team or the hockey team or someone else is called the Portsmouth Admirals. There's another Portsmouth Admirals in the city. So we couldn't have that.
That was actually a good one, because I like the idea of having a big A and being like the A's.
Yeah.
It looked good. Portsmouth A's.
It looked good. It ticked all the boxes because the navy thing is key, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's a nod to Mick as well and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
It's the same thing about the Pirates as well. That was a big one. I think there's quite a few different sports that use the Pirates.
I now love Forso. Sounds so good. Works. Ticks. People like it.
There's a few Star Wars little things we do as well.
And sometimes you just have to name something.
Yeah. Just
do
it.
Just
Get on with
do
it.
it. Just give it a name.
It's like a band, isn't it? Like
exactly.
you create the name, and then people go, "Oh yeah, that's the name."
It's a product. It's the basketball.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, the game day experiences. That's what you're selling.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't call it something stupid. But
and talking about the naval references, I noticed the cup game we got coming up against Plymouth.
yes,
They're actually selling that as the battle of the two naval teams.
I saw that. So I'm guessing this podcast will go out after the weekend. So hopefully we'll be talking about
Yeah.
We are now talking about a successful first game.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
They
Well,
have got
Marty McFly.
They have got
Back to the
one
Future
guy
head on.
who's 7'4".
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
He's just signed for him.
Well, the thing is,
Mike Lewis, I think his name was.
That doesn't play too badly into our hands, does it? Because we're not a big inside team anyway.
No, we're gun, very fast, very athletic, pressure the ball.
Exactly. Athletic and
give
fast.
Give it all away. Don't give it all away out there. We haven't played the season.
Maybe I'm saying something to throw the teams.
Bluffing, the double bluffer.
Maybe I'm doing the double bluff.
We like standing at the logo and jacking up threes.
But the basketball that Coach Daniel and the team are putting together and the players that we've got this year should be all basketball is exciting to basketball fans. To non-basketball fans, there's a particular run and gun, fast action, athletic style of basketball. It's more appealing. And that's kind of what we should have this year.
So we talked about this offline a little while ago about when you have, and it's the same with the podcast in a way, when you have a product surrounding basketball, you have some people who are players, and then you have some who just like watching the sport. Like there's lots of people who watch football, but they don't necessarily play it. And it's the same thing with the basketball. What I've really liked seeing at the game, at the Memorial game, was the amount of kids who were looking at the Force players and thinking, that's where I'm going to go. So they saw a trajectory, they saw a pathway.
Yeah.
And that was us in the 80s looking at Portsmouth Basketball FC.
And you wait by 2 weeks' time, maybe even less than 2 weeks' time, the kids will get to see their kits. So this summer, we brought 15 new kits.
Yep.
And those 15 new kits go from the under 12s, under 10s. I think we've got a kit for the under 10s.
Yeah.
We've got an under 10s kit that is exactly the same as the Portsmouth Force men's team kit.
Yeah,
So
that's really good.
So those kids will be playing in that kit, and then they'll rock up on a Saturday, and they'll be like, "That's my kit."
They should turn up with the kit.
So-
Oh no, they're not allowed to keep it.
Not
are they?
allowed to keep the kit. Yeah, Simon's wearing. Simon's wearing 7.
Yeah. That's so good.
And imagine that they'll be like, "That's my number.
Yeah.
That's my kit," and that instantly you've got that. What you're talking about, that pathway and that dream of.
Absolutely. If I stick at it, and as you're saying with the pyramid, where you're going life happens and people drop away for whatever reason. Some people then sprout up and you get new people move in the area, etc. But people will see that path of going through.
I belong.
Yeah.
I belong to that kit. I literally wear. I belong to that club. I literally wear the same kit as that guy.
Yeah,
and they're heroes. Like, it's really weird.
Yeah, that goes. I think what I've learned is I think that goes both ways now. So I don't think I don't think people realise the actual relationship. It does go both ways. So I don't think the Portsmouth players realise that the kids are looking up and idolising them, going,
No.
wow, that guy literally just jumped and dunked over 3 players. Wow, I've never seen that in my life. And they're looking at them going, you're my hero. Drawing pictures, looking at their hand after a high five, like, wow, Jesus just touched me, or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the other thing is that goes the other way around. And we had that when we've talked to some of the players, where the players going, wow, this kind of respect and admiration is so heartwarming, and they're going, I really appreciate it. So that relationship actually goes both ways. If that makes sense,
it makes
what I'm trying to say.
sense. Yeah, no, we even had it with Ollie Blake, who is now he's captain Portsmouth Force, right?
Ollie Blake is the captain, yeah.
And he is the head coach now of the Portsmouth College program.
Oh wow!
So he's also coaching the under-18 college team. So that's another link into the Force. But I remember chatting to him after the first game, and we had the first game at Ravelin, and I don't know what we had for the first game, 160, 180 people, something like that for the first game. So nowhere as near as full as it's going to be. And I was like, how was that? And he was like, nerve-wracking. That's really scary. And that was their home game, because they weren't expecting to come in and even like.
This is last
season.
Yeah.
To have that like pressure of having to play in front of a crowd. I think now they've all warmed it and they know what to expect, and it's a good pressure.
Oh, even the people coming into it, they're going to the game, so they know what's coming.
Exactly.
But the away teams don't.
I think the Kestrels were generally quite surprised walking into the game.
They were lovely Saturday. So obviously, I don't know when this podcast goes, when we played the Mickey Byrne Memorial. Had a good chat with Jack and the other coaches and the team. And they really treated the game with respect.
Absolutely.
But I do agree with you. I think they came in and was like, "This is a good outfit. This is a serious. It could be a serious."
You also
local
had
rivalry.
ex-National League players come to watch the game, and
Yep.
they were like, "Oh wow, this is what they're doing at Portsmouth Force. This is really good."
We had a BBL coach in the building, didn't we?
Yep.
So is it Ben? Craig Dawson was telling me. Craig Dawson, who's brilliant basketball coach, who's leading the development of our coaches. He's not actually coaching; he's sort of coaching our coaches and trying to help that we've got a complete playbook. But I was sitting with him, and he was saying that the Solent coach who left to go to coach in the BBL with Leicester, I think.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was in on Saturday, in for the game.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so like
you never know who's there.
Well, this is it exactly. So it's we are getting onto that basketball map, and
Yeah.
I know it from local area meetings I go to SABA, Southern Area Basketball Association. And I go and sit in on some of the meetings, and initially it's kind of like we're just a small voice in the corner, and now we're progressing into being a bigger voice and having a say and having being like a fundamental part of area basketball, not just Portsmouth basketball, area basketball, which is great.
Yeah,
We're on the map, guys.
yeah, it's
We
getting
are
there.
on the map.
But where does that go? What's your timeline then? Have you got a Rob's little dream timeline?
Have I got a timeline?
And this is not throwing any of the boys under the bus, so if they're listening, don't take it.
So what we have is kids. We've talked about fun and fundamentals, so kids can play basketball.
Yep.
Pick up a basketball, come and play. That is covered, and I think that's working. It could expand a little bit, but that's working. Then we have local league basketball, which is for anyone really with any sort of basic ability to come and just play a competitive game and get to learn to play basketball in a competitive way, non-pressured. It doesn't really matter. I just want you to get the experience of playing in a basketball game. Then we have National League set up. Now, the National League is structured regional and Prem and conference sits in there somewhere. I'm never sure with Basketball England. I'm not the biggest fan of Basketball England, but That's a different podcast. We could go on for ages about that. But you have different tiers at Basketball England. So the dream would be to have the youth setup, regional, conference, prem teams at each age group.
Yep.
And you have a real progression. And then the next bit is the college program, which is another big thing that we can talk about later if you want to, and hybrid, and building that college structure, building the team structure into a college program. That feeds into the university. And if that groundwork's done, the groundwork means that your talent pool is huge. If your talent pool is huge, then the Force team can be super elite.
Yeah.
So why not dream of having a BBL side, finding a way to get a stadium? If you can link Mr. Eisner at Portsmouth Football Club, maybe we'll save this conversation for a few years. But why not have a basketball stadium and have a BBL side?
Yeah.
Like you've seen it. Why couldn't we have 4,000 fans turn up to a basketball game?
Yeah, there's no reason for
There's
it.
no reason we couldn't do that.
No reason at all.
So is the timeline on that? Don't know. But why not say 10
What
years?
I like about what Rob's saying here, he's talking about the entire foundation and the
Yep.
structure. So if you notice, sometimes when you talk to people and they talk about, what your future, and they go, I want to say narrow-minded, where they go, right, we really want to get in Div 2 as National League Men's or
Yep.
Div 1. And that's the thing. When Rob talks, he's looking at that big picture of going, right, let's build the foundations nice and strong. The rest will take care of itself, because that's all just going to filter through throughout the years.
So in the last podcast we did with Ryan, there's one word that I wrote down, which was program. And he mentioned it quite a few times. And he was always talking about how with the Kestrels and with Itchin and the way they had a set up for years and years, and so the Stars, etc., there was always a program and then a progression. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Exactly, yeah.
And having an option on the South Coast for a player who wants to get into basketball at any tier, we've got an option for you now. We've got an actual viable option.
Exactly that. And at any age, that's key as well. I don't want people to be able to go, I'm 16, I can't start playing basketball. Like, why not? Joel Embiid in the NBA started playing basketball like something silly, 15 years old. He's now one of the top 10 players in the NBA. Didn't pick up a basketball till he's 15.
He's also the size of a house.
Yeah, but he's still... There'll be other 15-year-olds big who haven't done it. It's just having that opportunity to do it. But that program where that you use, and again, Craig Dawson is fundamental in trying to get this program set up. What we're trying to do is produce a availability for our elite players to be able to play basketball every single day. That's how we get truly elite basketball players, by them playing every day. So they'd have 3 training sessions a week, a game at the weekend, and then shooting sessions or scrimmage or S&C or anything. It's all basketball. They live and breathe basketball.
Yeah.
And if you can get that program for players to go through, that's where you get the talent, and that's where you start talking about like area players, National League players, Olympic players. All this sort of stuff is what you've got to be looking at. So we are kind of what we've done at the club, as you know, Paul is speaking about. I keep talking about this hybrid deal. So
yeah, so have you got an exclusive on this hybrid deal? Mark, we might have another exclusive here.
I've got an almost exclusive. I've got an incredibly hopeful, almost over the line exclusive. So
this is Highbury College in Portsmouth.
So Highbury College technically doesn't. Highbury campus exists now. The city of Portsmouth College is Highbury College, Highbury campus, and Tangier Road campus.
Yeah. Oh, so it's Portsmouth College. They joined together.
City of Portsmouth College.
Okay.
COPC. Now, we merged or had a partnership for the basketball academy as Portsmouth College Basketball Academy 5-6 years ago, under Jack Moore, who's a brilliant lead at Portsmouth College. But Jack knows as well as I do, the facilities at Portsmouth College don't lead themselves to high-level basketball.
It's just, I think that they're great. It's just in need of modernisation. That's probably the word, isn't it?
And it's actually not legal. So the runoff on the sideline, you couldn't play a National League basketball game there.
No, in a game, no.
So you can't play a game there. So it's not technically fit for purpose, but it's a basketball court, right? Now, since the merger of Portsmouth Highbury campus and Highbury College, what happens is that the facilities at Highbury is much better. Not great. It's
No,
almost,
they're all right. It's a nice wooden floor,
much,
isn't it?
much,
Nice wooden floor.
and a bigger sports hall. Can play
Yeah.
National League games there.
The Fury used to play their home games there.
Now, what we have been in discussions with Highbury College, City of Portsmouth College about, is about actually block booking Highbury and having it every evening, 6 till 10, and filling that basketball court exclusively with basketball sessions. All of them, under 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s. We'd still keep all our Admiral Lord Nelson sessions, keep what we do at the college, but give more basketball, more availability. And part of what we want to build onto that is actually to develop a proper basketball academy program, so kids can actually take a qualification in basketball. That's what we're aiming
That would be
for.
great.
Nice, that's cool.
So you would have the opportunity, whether it's a BTEC, I think it's a BTEC, they do it with soccer, football, they've got the soccer BTEC, football BTEC, that program, you replicate that with basketball, you'd have a level 2, preferably a level 3, because the next progression is to get some level 3 coaches in the club. You get a qualified coach to teach the BTEC, and then you've got a proper basketball pathway. And what happens when you send these kids to do this college pathway? They come out of the pathway, they're good basketball players. They also, on the sideline, they take their referees course. On the sideline, they take the table official course.
Yeah.
20 kids a year go through it. At the club, at the end of it, it ends up with 20 new referees, 20 new table officials.
Well, you've definitely got a handful of coaches who are eligible to take their level 3 coaching now, which would be really good. But also the benefit of that is you then start, I guess, looking at international students coming in. And I remember this is going back, because I used to work at Highbury College. This is going back probably 12 years ago, I'd say. And they were really keen in those days setting up a basketball academy to get that draw from the international students coming. But I think it just wasn't realistic. I know they were talking like an hour a week of basketball, and it's like, that's not a basketball academy. But from what you're saying now, this is deadly serious.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like a legit, proper basketball program. What they do at Kestrels and Itchen is such a good model that, you know, they've dominated. To be fair,
the South Coast,
the South Coast basketball situation.
Yeah, they hoovered everyone up, didn't they?
Yeah.
Also, they're one of the affiliated clubs with BE. I think there's one of 14 clubs that I don't know if it's BE that push them out, but there's one of 14 that they say these are the clubs you should go to, and Itchen's one of them.
It's a brilliant model. It's really good, and they have where you can see they've got the pathway to the NBA, right? They had a player come through, played there, and is now playing for the San Antonio Spurs. Like, I love competition. I love rivalry. Sport is built on rivalry. There's no problem with that.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you just have to tip your hat and go, that program is for real.
Yeah, but I mean, it's what's the model that works in that ecosystem? Because when you look at other countries, and you look in FIBA, Eurobasket, and you see how they do it. And so we were talking with Simon, the way that they do it over there are good things that they do, like there's more support from a sort of city level about certain things. But then they have their own challenges with the way the leagues are set up, because they're more dispersed and the level's higher. The entry is difficult for them, so they have those sort of challenges where I think, you know, with the Force coming through as it is now and the timing, it's a really good place for the trajectory of everything coming through.
I mean, that's massive. That's just, you know, extra, isn't it? So what's the time frames on that?
We have had meetings all over the summer, multiple meetings to establish how it works. There's a number side to it. It's business ultimately. We're always talking about business side and how the numbers stack up, what we're trying to provide, what the college itself are trying to provide, because it's an asset to the college to be able to say they have this elite basketball program. So we'll wait to see what actually happens when all is said and done. But the current state of play is we're just waiting for a head nod, basically. So I'm hopeful, but we will see. And damage limitation, if something doesn't happen, with so many people involved with the club, there's so many facilities, and we've got so many resources now, we will find a way. But eventually the goal of having this future of multi-tiered National League basketball and availability will happen one day. We just will.
You're going to take up our whole bloody Saturday, aren't it? Like, right, we're going in, we're doing Div 3 at 12 o'clock, we're doing Div 2, then the women's come in, and then you got the men. It's going to be a whole day.
Well,
Has anyone seen Rob? Yeah, he's gone to Wentworth.
well, yeah.
You know what?
This is one thing, actually. I don't know if I think I told you, Paul. I'm not actually at the first Force home game.
This is a disgrace.
I know.
Utter
This is a
disgrace.
disgrace.
I feel so
Are you
guilty.
playing golf?
No.
This better not be.
No.
good.
Where are you? No, this is going to be
I'm,
good. This is gonna
It's
be good.
pretty good. I'm supporting Chasing Status DJing at the undercover skate park.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
That is there.
Yeah,
So hang on a minute.
the DJing doesn't happen quite as much anymore. So when I get a booking and it's a great booking. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So for Concrete Music and undercover skate park. Do you know about the Pitt Street undercover skate park?
Yeah, tell us.
Such a good project.
So this is where the old Sainsbury's used to be.
Yeah, where the old Sainsbury's is in Commercial Road, and Jenna and Jacob run this just amazing project where they took all of the Sainsbury's furniture out of the building, built loads of money on these lovely ply ramps and half pipes and skateboard, because the floor, if you remember in the Sainsbury's, is like the old marbly floor.
Yep.
I don't skate. I'd be like Bambi on ice. I don't skate. I'd not be on a skateboard. but the floor is great for skateboarding apparently, and BMXing and all wheeled sports. So I've got this project, open space turned into a skate park. The council have been brilliant and done a huge deal on rent and electricity and helping it out. And they get like kids coming in, get kids off the street, much the same as doing basketball. They're just doing wheel sports. Kids get off the street, go and have a skate. Go and have a play, and that space then needs to be subsidised with other things. So they sublet to some event companies. Use Concrete Music, another good friend Billy. He's putting on these great events. He had Patrick Topping down there last month, big house DJ.
Wow.
Chasing Status there. Had a kitchen party I told you about the other day in the skate park. It's just a brilliant project, brilliant. So if you're not playing basketball and you want your kid to do something, take them to the skate park.
Yeah. Do
So,
both.
just want to just add to something Rob said. So for those who don't know, Rob is actually a really good DJ.
A really good
He's
DJ.
been
I would
doing it
say
for
he should be
ages.
doing at least one halftime show. this
Yeah,
season.
why don't you
I
come and
could
do
do
a
a
halftime
halftime
show?
show.
Yeah.
Why not?
So yeah, I could do some
Get the decks right in the middle.
strictly drum and bass.
We can
Yeah.
hand out whistles and white gloves to everyone in the
So
crowd.
whistles and white gloves is that's my way past. That was I loved rave days.
Are you allowed to share who you watched DJ the other day?
I can.
Yeah, go on.
Fatboy Slim
Amazing's that.
in the kitchen.
in the kitchen,
In the
just as you do.
kitchen. Just 200 of us and Fatboy Slim.
That's very cool.
It was pretty cool.
That
It
is
was-
very,
That
very
don't
cool.
happen often.
It doesn't. No,
That
it
don't
was.
happen
It
often.
was a pinch yourself night. So I was
Yeah.
there with my wife Kelly, and we were sort of like had a couple of drinks. We were like, "Do you think he's going to turn up?" And then Fatboy Slim walks in, and when you say walk in, it's not like walking in a club. He was like next to me, walked up the decks, like, "Oh my god, it's Fatboy Slim!" Like, actually, and he played for 2 hours, and he was insanely good. But that was part of a project, a look-up project for Portsmouth. Have you seen the street up?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Portsmouth, it's really good. Really
There's
good.
that
Some of the
one
street art.
guy who does the
My
eyes.
Dog's Size.
My Dog Size,
He's
yeah.
really
He
good.
was basically the lead on the project and the party.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
A lovely guy. Really, really, really lovely guy.
Yeah, I dropped him a message the other day because we'd found one of the coins when he did the treasure
Oh,
hunt.
did you? Okay.
And I just said, I dropped him a message and said, "Oh, my daughter wondered, did all of the coins get found?" And he's like, "Nah, there's still some out there
Oh,
apparently."
really?
Yeah, I think so.
I've got a skateboard. I've got a skateboard that he snapped in half, and then fixed to it is a painted Heinz baked bean can.
Yep.
With his face on. I've got one of the cans in my office.
Oh, wow.
I've got a few bits of his actually. I'm a bit of a fanboy.
There's one of the eyes down the road.
Yeah.
The Make building's just there. And there's one of the eyes on the side.
I did notice there's one as you come into Portsmouth, one of the eyes, and someone's painted over it.
Wow.
He's quite.
It was a really good eye. as
I
well.
follow
Love
some
that
of the
one.
bits that some of his socials, and he's quite fine with graffiti, or not graffiti, art being covered over.
Yeah.
Everything has a history and has
It's
a
not
top.
permanent.
Well, I think
not
that one,
permanent.
I
It's
think
like-
he painted over it. It looks like someone's done a proper paint
Right,
over it, not
okay.
spray paint.
Yeah, not just draw massive penis on things.
No,
It's not one of those.
No, it's like
a chalice, I think.
no, I did not deface it.
a legit art job.
That would have been a legit idol.
So, what do you think the chances are that Fatboy Slim will come down and do a Portsmouth Force halftime show?
I think the link is we have to massively promote Pepita Coffee, because Pepita Coffee was the link to Fatboy Slim coming to work with the artists. I'm not sure what the link between Look Up Portsmouth, My Dog Size, the artist, Pepita Coffee, and Fatboy Slim is, but there's a link there. So we might as well big up Pepita Coffee, and you never know, we might get Fatboy Slim.
Wow.
Well, I mean, yeah. Should we do that in the next segment? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say, I think one of the Fatboy Slim tracks is what I always play as the build-up to just before the guys come out. I'm
Don't
just
you
going to
normally
double
play
check.
right here, right now? Don't you normally play that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Chems.
Yeah.
Great. I love the Chemical Brothers.
Oh, it's not. I'm getting my DJs mixed up.
Yeah, Fatboy Slim would play that. It's definitely on his set list.
Yeah.
But right here, right
Okay,
now. it's
that's
Chemical.
where I've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played by him, but not written by him.
Oh, okay. But yeah. Oh, that'd be amazing.
See, I think I've got more chance of getting a 5,000-seater stadium in Portsmouth than Fatboy Slim coming down to the Ravelin, but you never know.
What if you could get him to buy the stadium and then open it
If
for you?
we'd have to move to Brighton, I'm pretty sure we'd have to move to Brighton.
Yeah, there is that. That's not ideal.
You know what? One of
Hell of a commute.
my goals for this season is
Go for it.
that you watch a game.
But I watch a game. Oh, you've seen me, have
Because
you?
you're so busy, whether it's the ticket sales stuff at the start, you're walking around, you're organising stuff. I just think it'd be really great if someone just deals with that, even if it was for one game, and you go, I'm Mr. Chairman, I'm in row A.
See, I'd like to do that. I think I'd like to do that. Whether I could do that is another thing. This is probably the longest I've sat in the same place for quite a long time.
Okay.
So I just
Well, the handcuffs work, mate.
just get up and keep moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would love to do that.
Well, I mean, I think we'll continue this with a second part of the episode. But I think we've got some more questions for you, Rob.
Are we rolling on to part 2?
Oh, we're going to roll on to part 2 for sure.
Okay.
But for now, so that ends this episode of the Portsmouth Basketball Podcast. Part 2 of this interview will be coming out in 24 hours, so tune in for that one. But until then, wherever you are and whenever you're listening, we thank you so much for your support. Till then, bye-bye.
And the giggling is over. Thank you for
Finally.
putting out of it, guys.
I just had to take
Honestly.
over.